Despite what I say in this video, I do like EVs. But as I've said many times over, I hate the people who buy these vehicles and put down internal combustion engines. You have to understand something. EVs just got here. They're not taking over. Even if they do have a frunk or mind-blowing acceleration.
30. 60.
All of that comes at a pretty steep cost, as you guys can see right here. $93,745. Now this is a 2023, and I think that Ford has decided to do the right thing and lower the prices, but that may not be enough. So why are electric vehicles not doing as well as they should? Because in my opinion, electric vehicles should be doing well. Let's go ahead and discuss that. Now this is not a fast charger, okay? If you need fast charge, you'd have to drop this down here and you have a different style of plug, right? So with that being said, here you go. Put this in. This truck is actually not completely dead. It's actually fully charged in a sense. It's at 76%, 196 miles. If you're not using a fast charger at 76%, starting your charge at 122 will take till 542 to charge this truck. If it were like at 20%, it would probably take a little over a day. Well, not over a day. It would probably take about a day or less to charge it, right? If you have a fast charger, if you're at 15-20% battery capacity, it would take 2 hours to fully charge it on a fast charger. That to me is pretty insane. Especially when you can buy a Ford Super Duty with a 48-gallon fuel tank. This will take less than 5 minutes to fill up, and you can get 600 to 700 miles to a tank. That's not possible with the EV trucks yet. They have big battery packs, but they only can go about 300 miles or so on one drive. I don't think it can go that far, honestly. I think I might be exaggerating that a little bit. But you have to understand something else. Charging is expensive now. I think I saw something online where they said that it costs more now to charge these EVs, especially these trucks, because they have such big batteries, that it's not as cost effective as it used to be when they first came out. When Tesla started, you can get free charging, and they just did a lot of marketing things to get people to switch from combustion engines to electric vehicles. But here's where I think the EVs lost steam. Our federal government. I think that when California decided they were going to outlaw combustion engines, I think a lot of people thought that was kind of silly, and it was, because if you don't remember, there was a year in the summertime where California was telling people not to plug in their EVs in the afternoon time, right? So how can you outlaw combustion engines, but then you can still tell people or ask people not to plug in their vehicle? That don't make sense. I'm going to read an article to you guys, and this is something else that kind of solidifies what I'm saying. Something worth noting, Ford did have a good sales month on EVs for February. They saw 80% increase for their sales last month. And it's showing here, it's probably because of the cuts that they did on some of their electric vehicles. The Ford Lightning, however, did get a price increase for 2024. But a factor of why the Ford Lightnings are probably selling better, because they saw a sales increase too, is because demand is going to be going down for the truck. So it probably sparked people to want to go out and buy them, because Ford decided to close down one of their factories and they're going to cut production of this truck down considerably. Also, dealers are starting to really discount the Ford Lightnings too, and that's probably helping as well. Now, as I said, I want to read this article to you guys. I'll put this down below in the description if you'd like to see it. The F-150 Lightning production cut comes at a time when Detroit automakers are protesting that the Biden administration is going too far with proposals to use emission rules that would result in 67% of all new vehicles in 2032 being EVs. On Friday, the EPA submitted its proposal to finalize vehicle requirements to the White House for review. The Republican-led U.S. House in December voted to bar the EPA from moving forward, while the planned vehicle emissions regulations drawing a veto threat from the White House. Former President Donald Trump, who is seeking to return to the White House has vowed to reverse the Biden administration's EV rules, while the White House has touted automakers' significant EV and battery production investments along with government funding of the new EV charging. So yes, that's what happens when you listen to a woke administration. These people do not know how to run a country, and they're trying to help the manufacturers run car companies. And listen, back in 2020 to 2022, car sales were absolutely through the roof, and people were just buying stuff because they were tired of being inside the house. We learned a lot about ourselves back in those years, right? And what Ford should learn now, and really not just Ford, every manufacturer should learn not to listen to what the government says. Hey, I think EVs one day will have their place, but they're not going to take out the internal combustion engine. I don't know why the government, California, have to go to the extremes of wanting to outlaw internal combustion engines. We've already seen that half-ton pickups can get close to 30 mpg on the highway, and even back in the day before all the emission stuff, the Volkswagen Jetta TDI could get 50 mpg on the highway, especially when that engine started to break in. Why not make those hybrids? Add electric motors for the city driving, that way they can get better fuel economy there, and then you could probably get 60 to 70 mpg combined. I don't know about combined, but you can probably get close to that number with a diesel engine. It just seems all political to me. I think the biggest mistake that the manufacturers have made with EVs is the pricing like this. All right, I just made it home. I forgot to finish this video at the dealership, but as I was saying, the prices have been going kind of up and down with the EVs. Lately, they've been going down. So the manufacturers have been cutting the prices. And early on, when people were jumping on the Ford Lightnings and other EVs, especially back in 2020 to 2021, people were paying MSRP over MSRP. I heard of people paying 25 grand over MSRP for Ford Lightnings. So imagine how now dealers are starting to discount those trucks. Imagine how much money people are going to lose on these EVs. And I feel as though the manufacturers should have did a better job making sure the dealers did not charge over MSRP and making customers have restrictions too for selling it, you know, over what they paid for it, because the market for EVs is just not there. And I think that's the biggest reason why they're not selling. You even notice that Ford is the only truck manufacturer with an EV. GM has announced theirs, what, a year or two ago? Ram has been discussing theirs probably about a year or so ago now, but they haven't released them yet because they don't know what the market is. So the used car market is just terrible. I'm hearing from dealers, from customers, that the trade-in values are just not where they should be at. And it's really because we don't know what kind of market we're going to have going through 2024 into 2025. So I think a lot of dealers are starting to lowball just to kind of play it safe. And I don't blame them, because at one point the market was here, and now just overnight it kind of just dropped down. So hopefully they figure it out. I think that the manufacturers learned a valuable lesson. Don't let the government make decisions for you guys, because they don't know what they're talking about. With California telling people not to plug in their cars, imagine how that looks long-term for EVs. People are probably not going to take them seriously. And that's why I think combustion engines are going to be around for a very long time. The only way they'll go away is if fossil fuels go away. And if that happens, we'll be in some trouble too. But hopefully they'll figure it all out. I think that EVs are still a good buy, but they really need to come out with some good lease programs for those cars, so that way people have a better feeling about trade-in value long-term. But that's a big risk for the manufacturer too. So they probably won't do that. And I don't think leasing is good on those EVs right now, because again, we don't know what the values of them are. But what are your guys' thoughts? Do you guys think that the manufacturers should reconsider, you know, the pricing on these? I think that's probably the biggest thing. Is that truck I was just driving today was a $94,000 pickup, and it takes a lot of time to charge them up, especially with the bigger batteries, and they're just not that practical for traveling long distance. If you want to tow a trailer, you only can do it locally. So there's just a lot of setbacks, but pricing is the problem. We know that. But what are some other things you guys are thinking? Let me know in the comment section below. See you guys soon.